Saitama. You know, I told myself when I first started this YouTube channel just a few weeks ago that I was not going to cover Saitama. Why, you ask? Well, I got in October last year, got out just a couple of months ago, lost most of my money, as I'm sure most of you did as well, unless you're still hanging on to it, which I'm sure there's quite a big group of people still hanging on, the wolf pack. They're out there. So in this video, I'm going to review Saitama on a quick timeline and then cover their newest announcement. They are migrating to a V2, which I think is a great idea. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the entire project and where do I see them going from here. All right, let's jump straight into this one. Hello everyone, my name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Welcome back to the channel. Saitama, a huge community, started almost a year ago. They were able to work themselves up and hype themselves up to a over $7 billion market cap. It was great. They were doing fantastic until they actually tried to deploy their use case, which was Saitama. Now, Saitama was put on hold. I'm not going to go through the entire launch party at Vegas and all that, and that entire train wreck, which it was. But the entire time they have missed the mark. Every promise, every deadline they've missed. Saitama still does not work 100% correctly. They've attempted to launch Saita Realty, which was a disaster. Then they decided, well, you know what? Even though we can't really get Saitama working, let's come out with a Saitama Pro. Now, I don't know whose genius idea that was, but it wasn't genius. So why was I in Saitama? Saitama seemed like a great project. The devs were doxed and highly visible. They are a registered company in the US. I felt as safe as you can feel in the crypto space in the project. I thought, okay, it's a good idea. They're coming out with a wallet and a swap, and they want to do their own blockchain and NFTs, just like everybody else. They said it was going to be revolutionary. I mean, it really isn't revolutionary. There's a lot of these out there. But anyway, I thought it was still a great idea and a great project, and I was in. So I jumped in, wrote it up, wrote it down, and here we are. So migrating to a V2 contract, which is a good idea. So basically, when they took over Saitama in the beginning, they didn't develop it. The current team, Russ and the team, didn't develop Saitama. They took it over from a different developer. Well, the contract ownership was renounced, which means they can't make any changes. They can't do anything to it. They're locked out, right? They didn't have a marketing wallet, which was problematic because they need to pay for things. They need to pay for marketing, right? They're going to sponsor boxers and fighters and do all these other advertising, but they had no way to pay for that. Now, initially they stated that they were going to pay out of their pocket. And that's what Russ said. I have to pay out of my pocket. He was a successful businessman outside of crypto. So leading us to believe he had the money. And then just a short time after that, he said very specifically, yes, of course I have to sell Saitama in order to pay for these things. So that was problematic. That didn't give a lot of faith to a lot of people. So obviously they've been losing holders since the top. So the V2, what are they going to do and why are they going to do it? So here is the V2. V2 is going to be a multi-sig. So they'll have to have multiple people sign in order to spend for marketing. They're going to relock liquidity in V1. They're going to transfer it over to V2. They're going to have flexibility with the contract now. They're going to get rid of the Inu, right? So they're saying basically the wolf is growing up. It's time to move on. They're going to apparently make this a more serious project and get rid of that anime style, wolf. The wolf pack, I'm sure, is still going to be there. They're still going to be called the wolf pack. So on the V2, on the migration, the new contract, they're dropping zeros. They are reducing supply, and they're doing this so that they can get on tier 1 exchanges. So having too many zeros and too large of a supply, and we've seen this in multiple other projects like, shibnobi, They had issues. Also, Volt Inu, they did the same thing. This is going to help. When you have that many zeros in that large supply, tier one exchanges don't want to take you, and also the reflections are usually problematic. So I think they're going to drop that also. So in this migration, they're going to be airdropping tokens to all the holders. They say it's going to be seamless. And for their sake, I hope so. So here's their new white paper, essentially, spelling out everything. And this is going to help, I think, quite a bit. Can they be serious? Can they turn this into a serious project? Can they get holders back? Now, they claim there's 360 plus thousand holders, which we know that isn't true, right? I mean, there may be 360,000 wallets, but a lot of people like myself sold everything and moved on, but yet I still have 2 wallets that still have a little bit of Saitama left in there, not enough to sell because fees are more than what's worth in the wallet. So it just sits there. They're essentially dead wallets. I guarantee you half of the wallets that they claim to have are virtually empty. I know Rodney on my Crypto Journeys channel has done some research on that and basically stating, 60% of those wallets have less than, $20 or whatever it is. Like, this just not enough to even sell. So they still count them as holders, the token holders, but they're not. Obviously, these are people that have just moved on and they just have a little bit of Saitama left in their wallets. So that being said, even if they have 80,000 holders, actual active users, or 100,000, that's still a huge amount in crypto, especially in the community token, meme token space. 80 or 100,000 active holders is huge. So good for them if they've got those people and they can make some serious changes and get serious about producing a quality product and stop messing around with all of these other side deals before they even get their main use case working correctly. Like, that's what they have to do. How are they going to do it? I don't know. I don't really have a lot of faith in the team. I'm sure they can. If they've got enough holders and they've got enough liquidity, I'm sure they're going to get a bump from all this news, this migration to a V2. And I wish them the best. I always say I do not ever want to see a crypto project fail because it's bad for crypto, right? Everybody looks at that and they say, see, that's why I don't want to get in, because these things are rug pulls and scams, and they promise everything and they deliver nothing. And so far, Saitama really hasn't delivered anything to speak of. I do wish them well. Also, I hope they use a good migration service. Everrise, right? Volt recently migrated to a V2 for similar issues. I mean, they're a much better run project by far, but they had the same issues as far as dropping zeros and reducing supply in order to get on tier one exchanges. So they did that, and they did it flawlessly. It was perfect. So I hope they can do this. If they screw this up, if Saitama messes this up and it's a disaster like every other thing they've done, it may be game over. So like I said, hopefully for the sake of the holders and the wolf pack out there, I'm going to have my fingers crossed. I'm going to be watching it, and I'll give some updates along the way, and we'll see what happens. So with this V2 announcement, they've had a bump. They've had some AMAs where they're talking about it and how to doing what they're doing, how to get better. So they've had a little bump here in price. It's come back down a little bit, but you really have to see the big picture here, right? This here seems like it's nice, but it's really not anything. You zoom out and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, right? This is where they were. This is this little tiny bump right here. So they've got a long way to go. Can they get back to all-time highs? I have no idea. I hope they do. I honestly do. I hope they go and they blow by this and they get back into the $10 billion market cap range, and everybody gets to make their money back, right? At the end of the day, that's what we want. We want people to make money in this space. We don't want these projects to fail. I really hope Russ and the team can get this one right. I will be rooting for you, Wolfpack. Even though you guys can be a rough bunch out there in the community. I think you guys can do this again. I hope for the best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this information, and do with it what you will. I am not suggesting that you buy Saitama or sell Saitama or do anything Do your own research. Just use this as one part of that research. And as always, give me a like and subscribe. If you enjoy the content, come back, visit me again. You guys stay safe out there.